It's sharing on our continued theme of the soul, the journey of the soul, the idea of the sacredness of our soul, and that deep inner knowing that that is who we are, that is what we are. And this last couple months we've been looking, as I remind you, the Tara Brach's work from True Refuge, and finding refuge in your soul when we have troubled times or when we're distracted with things that are going on in our own personal life or in the world. We find refuge in the deep self, in our spiritual practice, in the divine. So earlier this month I shared a little bit about wisdom and my understanding of the natural intuitive wisdom that we're all graced with. When today's talk is about that natural gift of spiritual light. And as I explored this in preparation to share with you today, lightness can mean not only that longing for the awakened light within. I have sort of lived with a guiding force in my life to figure out what that is when the great mystics speak of that vast, beautiful, illuminating light. And I wanted to know it before I was the one in the tunnel. So I thought, I don't want to be one of those that just finally gets it, but I can't tell anybody else about it because I made my transition. So I have studied this for a lifetime, and I share with you some of the thoughts that I find particularly engaging on this spiritual journey. And when we think of spiritual light, have you ever had those moments where you close your eyes and there's still light? And I think, what's that? And I'll put on one of those eye bags to rest my mind and eyes, and yet there's still so much light. There's still shadows playing, and I'm thinking to myself, how can there be light when I've closed my eyes, and physiologically that should shut down that gland? But there's even more light, and where does this light come that colors my dreams? Where do the dreams come if there's no projector of light to allow that to happen? So this mystery starts to allow me to continue that internal inquiry of what is this light, and what does it mean to be lighter in this experience we call life? So these are Tara Brach's words. The trance of separation of us against them is powerful. Yet as the Buddha taught, greater still is the truth of our connectedness. Beliefs lose their force whenever we take refuge in the actual experience. Beliefs lose their force whenever we take refuge in the actual experience. If we really pay attention to another person, if we really listen and try to enter his or her experience, we may begin to discover who he or she is beyond the preconceived notion. Now, this idea that we have different layerings of beliefs and the deep spiritual principles, the deep spiritual truths that weave their thread through every faith path, those are the ones I personally choose to anchor to. They are my refuge. But then I also, in my life experience, have developed beliefs about people or things, and sometimes they don't serve me very well. And that's why I particularly appreciate that the beliefs can lose their force when we take refuge in the actual experience, when we can go back into it and walk through the experience without our preconceived ideas, without our levels of judgment, without our they're doing that because, I'm wounded because, they make me mad because. All of that washes away and we just walk through. We just let go. That is the experience of being lighter. And sometimes it takes some preparation of our soul to our inner self, not the soul is always ready, but it takes some preparation inside of ourselves to be ready to transpose those stories, to allow them to flip in our understanding from that they to more personalizing, taking every story that causes you struggle, and you start to begin the story with, I am that. I there, but the grace of God go I am that. I am that story. That lives in me. I can see it because it lives in me. And I might have chosen another way of doing something, but the story lives in me. So I'm inviting you to continually reinterpret everything I say back into your own story, back into your own experience. Henry Longfellow says, if we could read the secret history of our enemies, we should find in each man's life sorrow and suffering enough to disarm all hostility. So even though you still might feel at risk when you do the spiritual practice, we need to use this wise discernment to really be the spiritual ambassadors and the spiritual warriors while we're alive, while we have the voice and the determination to guide and to protect ourselves. But our hearts do not need to be armored with a belief that causes us any suffering. Our hearts don't need to be armored with something that is obscuring our understanding of the history of another, and to allow ourselves in that armoring to shut off a mutual understanding, a mutual sense of caring. So there is more light than it will ever meet the human eye. And there is light that for the most part goes unseen, although it may be felt or intuited. What is that light I speak of? Some people see auras. Some people see a sense of a halo. If I'm standing just right, you might think you're seeing one on me. But the idea is this light, this perceived light. Now, can you think about all of the pictures that they used to depict of the disciples and the Christ, always with this beautiful light illuminating all of the places of wisdom. They walk in that light, and sometimes we perceive that light, and sometimes our senses are dulled in such a way that we don't quite see it, but we intuit this sense of light in a person that crosses our journey. And we feel connected, right? I think you all understand when we've had those moments, especially mine more recently, seeing newborn babies and being able to just hold light and have, I just sit there patiently staring at my little grandson, waiting for him to open his eyes. Because that's all he does right now, is either cry, sleep, open his eyes for a moment, and then cry again. Or he'll get there. He'll get to starting to say, I love you to me only. No, but I wait, because there's something unspoken in that light behind his beautiful brown eyes. So we look at light in itself as an absence of darkness and a quality that will help us see, help us understand, help us to see and feel more clearly what's going on. So when I speak of the light of wisdom that guides us through troubled times and challenges, how often have you found yourself feeling so much lost in the dark that you really do have to seek a wise person's counsel before you can finally allow yourself to feel that you're starting to get unstuck with an issue? Weekly I get to meet with Reverend Mary, which is my gift of being a minister here, because she reflects back to me, and sometimes in very clear ways, sometimes I'll kind of go, ooh, that one was ouch. But it points me because I'm too much in my comfort zone, and she'll shift it, and I will see. And that's what we do when we go to seek counsel. We are asking for the wisdom of the other to show us the way, because we're all one. And what I cannot see, you can see, so lead me until we both can see. So This idea of light also communicating a levity and a joy we can feel when our heart feels, less heavy, and you just feel like laughing. That's where the expression comes, angels can fly because they take themselves lightly. This light heart is a wise heart. It's not held down by heavy emotion. You can feel it when somebody walks in your room and they're not feeling very up, right? You can right away say, what's wrong? And they could be trying to fake it or medicate it or, like, why, what? But it's this kind of energy that they're coming in with, but they think they're putting on a facade because they have not thought deep enough about it. And that's your opportunity to offer yourself there. May I be with you? May I understand you? May I just sit with you? May my light shine a greater understanding with words even unspoken on what's going on inside of you. So we look at the ideas of when we're in those spaces of doom or despondency, of the heaviness of heart, and it really is a calling of your soul, tapping on the strings of your heart to say, I am right here, my beloved, I am right here. Close your eyes and turn within. Stop the story, go beneath the beliefs, and welcome me as your refuge. And then you'll watch yourself very gently bouncing back into the resiliency of the soul itself. So in this sharing today, I want to play, first of all, a passage that I found myself listening to over and over again this week. And it comes from Insight Timer, which was one of my favorite apps on the phone. And it's just a 2-minute practice. But this particular one is a poem, and I wrote his name down here. John Siddeque, She Let Go, is the title of the poem. But even though it says, she let go, can you transpose those words in your heart as you deeply listen? To I let go, to I let go. And then, because you're the 9 o'clock cool service of people that like to do spiritual practices together, I'm going to invite Damien up to assist me in a practice that we will join in together. So if we are ready to move into that space, kind of tune in to the deep reverent listening and hear these words of this poem spoken so eloquently and feel yourself lightening up.
She let go. Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyse whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing, like a leaf falling from a tree. She just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good, and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore.
She just let go. That's so freeing to me, to let my mind travel with his delicate words, his chosen words, put into a poem that describes our journey. Because there are the times where we do reach out to one another, but then there's the times it's just up to our own hearts to set ourselves free, to allow ourselves to just experience the sun and the moon and everything that's all the same, always guiding us, always shining its brilliant light into our understanding, into our way. So the spiritual practice, as I invite Damien up, is to really choose to allow this meditation. It's called Anihu. Anihu is all that you're going to say inside of your mind. It is the mantra, Anihu, Anihu. It comes from the Bible Isaiah, and it's in there, I think the scripture is written 5 times. And although it is, when you look it up in the internet, Anihu, A-N-I-H-U, when you look it up, it talks about it being the mantra of compassion. When you explore it even more, it is the mantra in Isaiah that means, I am that. Well, if we are allowing ourselves to change the role, to change our story, and to be the one inside all of the stories, I am that too. I am the one who. Transposing ourselves into every story, that makes the I am statement become much more potent to me. I am that I am. I am whatever story is moving through my heart space. Anehu. And with great empathy, with great compassion, the boundaries, the walls, the shields of the heart space, simply let go. Like a leaf falling from the tree. And this pure soul heart is exposed. We can chant this inwardly. You can do a practice where you say it out loud, invoking this quality of inner peace. You will feel this inner peace because we're doing it as a group. You will feel yourself rising above some of your concerns, perhaps, and issues, to see everything perhaps just a little more objectively. The heaviness of whatever has been begins to lift and solutions become clearer. And because we're chanting together a sacred mantra, think about that from Isaiah. Anihu, Anihu. We are asking for a blessing of light to be sent not only to us here, but to people and to places where there is any difficulty of any kind. That's the grace of deep blessing. There's no demand attached here to your intention. You're not limiting your mind here to be just about you, or to try to say, I am going to do this because then the outcome will be this. No, we give that to God. We let go, like the leaf falling. We just simply let go and become lighter. There's the wiser presence that emerges as we do this practice together. Now, why am I inviting Damien forward? He's a practitioner of Reiki. And Reiki is a practice of sharing the light, healing light. Now, I would invite anyone else here that is a practitioner of Reiki to come forward and stand with him. So if you are that, feel comfortable coming forward. and you receive their light. That's all you have to do is close your eyes now. We got one more practitioner of light. Reiki light. Already my heart quickens just at their generosity. So close your eyes. Feel the moment of being anointed with a light as you begin to inwardly chant and breathe Anihu, 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 Anihu. I am relaxing into the light. Anihu. I am letting go. Anihu, 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 Anihu. I am the light. I am the light. I am the light. The light is moving through me. Anihu, Anihu, Anihu. I receive the light. I receive the light. I receive the light. Anihu, 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 Anihu. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. Anihu, 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 Anihu. I'm letting go. I am healed. Anihu, Anihu. I am that I am. Anihu, Anihu. I am that I am. 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 Anihu, 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 Anihu. The light, the light, the inner light, the inner awakening. Let it happen. Let it flow. Anihu, Anihu. The Christ light. Let it happen. Anihu, Anihu, Anihu. Let it go. Let it be. Fill with the light. Fill with the light. Fill with the light. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light. Receive the light. Receive the light. Let it anoint you. Let down your shoulders. Let down your worries. Let down your judgments. Let them go. Set yourself free. Anihu, 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 Anihu. I am that. I am that I am. Anihu. We take a breath. We open our eyes and the light. Thank you. Thank you. Not a lot more has to be said about this moment of grace. That was spiritual light. It can't really be quantified or qualified, can it? It just be felt. But how do you now choose to leave from here and use that light? Allowing that light to make a difference. How do you experience light? Allow this inspiration, whatever you receive today, let it guide you, fill you, move you, shine through you as you relax inwardly and outwardly, and just allow a loving nature to move through you. If anything's bothering you, let it go with the next breath. Anihu, anihu. Smile as you recognize that light is your natural essence, your natural resource. This surrendering to the light brings such a softness and a sweetness. And begin to ask yourself, I choose now to see spiritual light wherever I go. I choose to simply sense it. Even if I can't see it, I'm going to see it in the eyes of passing strangers. I'm going to see it in the depth of my enemy. And I speak of enemy as that which causes our heart to shield. Because it will happen. Triggers happen. But they're a probe and a poke from the divine to say, wake up and shine the light. Catch a deeper glance of the deep light that dwells within each person and surrender your concerns and restore a sense of trust in humanity. I was away last weekend doing the release of my mother in the mountain fields, the meadows of Mammoth. And I had shared with the family that gathered there words and wisdoms from my mother's yearbook, and it all reminded me, because that was the time they fought in the wars, and there was a nobility to that, and the sense of honor of being an American. And I wept at that, because our country, to me, at this moment, didn't feel that way, that we were proud to be an American. And I thought, let us go back and remember how beautiful America is. Let us stop our fighting and bickering and defense with one another and open our hearts to the light and the beauty of America, with blue skies, mountain ranges and rivers and oceans, and beauty in the trees, beauty everywhere. That is our America. That is the light. That is the best that we can do for all our future generations. So in closing, a prayer from the Random Soul, 60 Ways to Discover the Spirit in You. Light, light. For the highest good, I call myself forward into the light as a remembrance, as a member of the divinity of which I am a part of. Because I do forget sometimes, but I choose now to send the light to others for their highest good in thought, in letter, on the phone, over emails. Light is the purest form of prayer that I know, and it comes with no conditions, only love. Light comes with no conditions, only love. Wherever I am, I envision a column of light from the highest heavens passing deep into the center of the earth, in the market line, at the street corner, in a cinema, in the halls of airports while waiting. More light columns to bless every space for the highest good. And my own consciousness in the remembrance of the light that I am, each of us, you too, can remember that light that we are, that we all are, the light, the great connector that finds harmony and union where there was discord and divisiveness. The light brings healing and peace where there was disease and discouragement. The light sees plenty. Where I might see lack, I see now with light. When you pray, see light, because the light sees you. And in this divine knowing, we are blessed by a grace, by a divinity. Our hearts are beating with this light. This light is moving through the vessels of our body. This light is clearing our perception into a greater knowing. This light we found and discovered this day, that as we close our eyes, this light becomes brighter and purer, and we emanate peace now with our word, with our walk in life, because we simply let go.